Good morning, all of you. I am Mahendra Seni, Assistant Professor, Department of Surya Gyan Vihar University. Today I will discuss about the meningitis. Today I will discuss about the meningitis. First of all, discuss about the learning objectives of this topic. Based on the content in this chapter, the reader should be able to like to introduce and define the topic and to enlist risk factors and etiology of the meningitis and the explain clinical manifestations and diagnostic evaluations, and last one learning objective is to explain management and health education of meningitis. These are the learning objectives of this topic. Next one is learning outcomes of this topic. By the end of the lecture, the student should be able to understand, like to introduce and define the topic and to enlist risk factors and etiology and to explain clinical manifestations and diagnostic evaluations. And last one learning outcome is to explain management and health education of meningitis. These are the learning outcomes of this topic. First of all, discuss the objectives of this topic, to introduce and define the topic and to enlist risk factors and etiology and to explain clinical manifestations and diagnostic evaluations and to explain management and health education of meningitis. First of all, introduction of meningitis. Introduction of meningitis. What is meningitis? Meningitis is forming name of inflammatory disease. It is a inflammatory disease. Meningitis involve meninges. Meningitis involve meninges. 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 Three layer of membrane known as meninges. Three layer of membrane known as meninges. Meninges is the protect the brain and spinal cord. Why the diameter? Meninges are made up of three layers. First one is diameter. It is the inner layer, and second one is arachnoid. It is a middle layer, and last one is durameter. It is outer layer of the meninges. These are the composition of meninges. Like inner layer is diameter, middle layer is arachnoid, and outer layer is durameter. Next one, definition of meningitis. Definition of meningitis. Meningitis is an acute inflammation. Meningitis is an acute inflammation of the meningeal tissues surrounding the brain and spinal cord. It means meninges. And this is the meningitis. Acute inflammation. Acute inflammation is a short-term process. Acute inflammation is a short-term process occurring in response to tissue injury, usually appearing with minutes or hours. And inflammation. Five cardinal signs of inflammation. Inflammation show the five cardinal signs like pain, redness, and immobilization means loss of functions and swelling, heat. These are the inflammatory cardinal signs. Next one, types of meningitis. Types of meningitis. Viral meningitis. First, basically, there are four types of meningitis. There are four types of meningitis. First one is viral meningitis. Second one is bacterial meningitis. Third one is fungal meningitis. And fourth one is parasitic meningitis. First one is viral meningitis. Viral meningitis is an inflammation of brain and spinal cord membrane, typically caused by virus, bacteria, and parasite. And next one is bacterial meningitis. Bacterial meningitis is an inflammation of brain and spinal cord membrane, typically caused by the bacteria. And next one is fungal meningitis. Fungal meningitis is a inflammation of brain and spinal cord membrane and typically caused by the fungal infection. And last one type of parasitic meningitis. Parasitic meningitis is a inflammation of brain and spinal cord membrane typically caused by the parasites like tapeworm, Blasiasis, Bernoullis, Bernocells. These are the parasites cause parasitic meningitis. These are the types of meningitis in which viral meningitis it is inflammation of the meningitis of membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord caused due to viral infection. Next one, risk factors of meningitis. What are the risk factors of meningitis? What are the risk factors of meningitis? Escaping vaccination. Due to escaping vaccination, the risk factor is it is a risk factor of meningitis. Next one is escaping vaccination. Escaping vaccination, and next one is as related like viral meningitis occurs in children's. Viral meningitis occurs in children younger than as 5 years, and bacterial meningitis is common in those under age 20 years. Next one, living in a community setting. Living in a community setting means inoculation of older adults and people with disabilities also affects many benefits to community. And next one is pregnancy and pregnancy. During the pregnancy, risk factors are the meningitis. And last one risk factor is compromised immune system. Compromised immune system like due to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and alcoholism and diabetes, use of immunosuppressant drugs, etc. These are the compromised immune system. Compromised immune system also infection like the flu virus, mono and measles can weaken in immune system for a brief time, and your immune system can also be weakened by smoking, alcohol, and poor nutrition means compromised immune system. These are the risk factors of meningitis. Next one, etiology. Next one, etiology of meningitis. Etiology of meningitis. First one, primary Neisseria meningitis. Neisseria meningitis. Neisseria meningitis often referred to as meningococcus is gram-negative bacteria that can cause meningitis disease. Next one is E. coli. Next one is secondary E. coli. E. coli is a Escherichia coli, and this is a gram negative bacteria, and Haemophilus influenza. Haemophilus influenza is a gram negative bacteria, and next one is Streptococcus pneumoniae is a gram positive bacteria. This is the etiology of meningitis. Next one. Next one is pathophysiology of meningitis. How to develop in body meningitis? First of all, invasion of microorganism. Invasion of microorganism, usually upper respiratory tract infections. After invasion of microorganism cause the upper respiratory tract infections. URTI. URTI means upper respiratory tract infections. After causing upper respiratory tract infections, bacterial invasion leads to a rapidly increased blood supply to the meningitis. After upper respiratory tract infection, bacterial invasion leads to a rapidly increased blood supply to meninges with massive neutrophil migration. Massive, massive neutrophil migration. After After increase the blood supply to the meningitis, neutrophils are migration in meningitis, meninges, and after the migration, the neutrophils then engulf the bacteria. After the neutrophil migration, the neutrophils then engulf the bacteria and disintegrate and exudate from tissue destructions and contribute to purulent material. Purulent material. Purulent material is a liquid or discharge. Purulent material is liquid or discharge that also from a wound, and people usually observe this fluid milky like look and texture, and purulent discharge usually indicate a sign of a infection. Purulent discharge. Purulent discharge usually indicate a sign of a infection. Next one is the purulent material cause the meninges to become inflamed and increase intracranial pressure. Purulent material cause the meninges to become inflamed, and after inflamed meninges increase the intracranial pressure. Increase the intracranial pressure. After increasing intracranial pressure, excessive. After increasing intracranial pressure, then excessive release of antidiuretic hormone, and antidiuretic hormone act by inhibiting urination. Antidiuretic hormone act by inhibiting urination. Antidiuretic hormone are inhibit the urination, and this is term leads to water retention. This is term leads to water retention, oliguria, hypervolemia, and hyponatremia, and further increase in intracranial pressure. Intracranial pressure. Intracranial pressure, a brain injury. Intracranial pressure, a brain injury, or another medical condition can cause growing pressure inside your skull. This dangerous condition is called increased intracranial pressure. And intracranial pressure leads to headache and further injury your brain and spinal cord. And next one is oliguria. Oliguria is the low output of urine. Oliguria and hypouresis. Hypouresis and oliguria is a same thing, is the low output of urine especially more than 80 ml per day, but less than 100 ml per day. Oligo means small and urea means urine. Next one is hyponatremia. Next one is hyponatremia. Hyponatremia, a condition occurs when the level of sodium in the blood is too low. The low level of sodium in blood, it means hyponatremia. This is the pathophysiology of meningitis. This is the pathophysiology of meningitis. Next one is clinical manifestations of meningitis. Next one is clinical manifestations of the meningitis. Clinical manifestations of meningitis like fever, neck stiffness, nostril rigidity, neck stiffness, nostril rigidity, and cuff flexion upon and flexion of the neck, brood Brute-Jenkins signal and resistant to the passive extension of knee with the hip flexed cardiac signal. And next one clinical manifestation is vomiting, photophobia may be seen. And next one is facial rashes and acute confusion, seizures and cranial nerve palsy. And last one clinical manifestation is coma in severe cases. Next one, neck stiffness. Neck stiffness, a sensation or soreness of discomfort in the neck when trying to move it or turn the head from side to side. It means neck stiffness and flexion. Flexion of neck. Flexion of neck is the movement of lowering your chin down to your chest. And next one is facial rashes. Facial rashes are flat and look like pinpoint sized red and brown and purple dots. Clumps of them, your skin look like a rashes. And next one is acute confusion. Acute confusion means delirium. Acute confusion and delirium is a same thing, is a clinical syndrome. It is a clinical syndrome characterized by distributor consciousness, cognitive function, or perceptions, and delirium develop from a short time. Next one is cranial nerve palsy. Cranial nerve palsy may cause a complete or partial weakness or paralysis of the area served by the affected nerves. These are the clinical manifestations of the meningitis. These are the clinical manifestations of the meningitis. Next one, diagnostic evaluations of meningitis. Diagnostic evaluations of meningitis. First one is history collection of patient. History collection of patient and physical examination. And next one diagnostic evaluations is blood culture and analysis of cerebrospinal fluid and complete blood count, electrolyte levels, and random blood sugar, compacted tomography scan, and by the MRI, magnetic resonance, and PET, positron emission tomography scan, skull X-ray, and X-ray of the skull may demonstrate infected sinus. CBC means complete blood count, and next one is RBM means random blood sugar, and CT scan is a computed tomography, and MRI is a magnetic resonance imaging, and PET scan means positron imaging tomography, and demonstrate give a partial exhibition and explanation of. Next one is get problem. Next one is complications. Complications of complications with meningitis. Complications with meningitis. First one is hearing loss, and hearing loss means. Next one is memory difficulty, learning disabilities, and brain damage, cat problem, seizures, and kidney failure, shock, and last one complication is death. The cat problems is includes neurological condition in which sensory and motor impairment. Cat problem includes neurological conditions and sensory and motor impairment. Next one is management of meningitis. Management of meningitis, in which first one is a medical management. Management of meningitis, and first one management is medical management, and in which medical management first one is pharmacological management. First one is pharmacological management. First one, antibiotics. First one, antibiotics like ampicillin, penicillin, and amoxicillin. These are the antibiotics. These antibiotics are used in the treatment of meningitis as a pharmacological management. And next one category is antiviral drugs like tenofovir, and these drugs are used in the treatment of meningitis. Next one category is antifungal drug, and these drugs, fluconazole, are used in the treatment of fungal meningitis, and tenofovir drug are used in the treatment of viral meningitis, and antibiotics like ampicillin, penicillin, amoxicillin. These antibiotics are used in the treatment of bacterial meningitis. And last one is corticosteroids, and corticosteroids like dexamethasone. These are used in the treatment of meningitis. And next one is IV mannitol for diuresis. IV mannitol are used in the treatment of diuresis. And next one is IV phenytoin. IV intravenously give the phenytoin. And last one category is antipyretics. Antipyretics are used in the treatment of meningitis, and acetaminophen and paracetamol are used in the treatment of meningitis. Next one, second one is non-pharmacological management. Second one is non-pharmacological management like maintenance of fluid electrolyte balance by IV fluid therapy. Fluid electrolyte balance is managed by the IV fluid therapy and nasogastric tube feeding. Nasogastric tube feeding, and next one is vitamin supplements are used in the treatment of meningitis. Next one is head and elevation 30 to 45 degree. Elevation means is a rise or rising of something. Next one is emotional support and necessary information for continuation of care at home and follow up and rehabilitation. Rehabilitation means the action of restoring someone to health or normal life through thriving and therapy after after imprisonment, addiction, and illness. Next one is interventions. Interventions of meningitis. Intervention of meningitis, in which intervention the enhancing cerebral perfusion, assess loss level of consciousness, assess level of consciousness, vital signs, and neurological parameters frequently observed for signs and symptoms of intracranial pressure. Example, decreased level of consciousness and dilated pupils and widening pulse pressure. Widening pulse pressure. Widening means make or become wider. Next one is maintain maintain a quiet calm environment. Maintain a quiet calm environment to prevent agitation which may cause an increased intracranial pressure. Environment to prevent agitation and which may cause an increased intracranial pressure. Next one is prepare patients for a lumbar puncture or for cerebrospinal evaluations. Prepare patient for lumbar puncture for cerebrospinal evaluation. By the lumbar puncture for cerebrospinal fluid evaluations and repeat spinal tape. If indicate lumbar puncture, typically processed and neuroimaging. Lumbar puncture. Lumbar puncture means also known as spinal tape, and lumbar puncture is performed in your lower back in the lumbar region, and during lumbar puncture a needle is inserted between two lumbar bones vertebral bones to remove a sample of cerebrospinal fluid cerebrospinal fluid. And next one, notify the healthcare. Notify the healthcare provider of sign of deterioration and increasing temperature, decreasing level of consciousness, and seizure activity and altered respiration, and IV mannitol is administered in treatment of meningitis. Next one is reducing fever. Next one is reducing fever. The administered antimicrobial agents on time to maintain optimal blood level. The reducing fever by the administered of antimicrobial agents on the time to maintain optimal blood level. And next one is monitor temperature frequently or continuously in meningitis treatment, and institute other cooling measures institute other cooling measures such as hypothermia blanket as indicated. Hypothermia blankets are used in the treatment of hyperthermia, in which hypothermia blankets are reduce the fever and administered antipyretic as ordered like paracetamol. These drugs are used in the treatment of meningitis and reduce the fever. Next one is health education. Next one is health education of meningitis, in which health education of meningitis to advise close contact of the patient, to advise close contact of the patient with meningitis, that prophylactic treatment, that Prophylactic treatments may be indicated. Prophylactic treatment is a condition or a treatment designed and used to prevent a disease from occurring. For example, prophylactic antibiotics may be used. And next one, encourage, they should check, they should check with their healthcare providers or the local public health department. And next one, encourage the patient to follow medication regimen and direct to fully eradicate the infectious agents. Encourage. Encourage means give support, confidence, or hope to someone. Next one is medication regimen. Medication regimen can be defined by the number of medication, poly medications. Number of medications means polypharmacy, and the number of times per day or dose the patient take medications means multiple dosing schedules. And encourage follow up and promote attention to infectious in future. Next one is conclusion. Next one is conclusion. Meningitis is an inflammation of the meninges. Meningitis is an inflammation of the meningitis. And the meaning are the three membranes that covers. Three membranes that cover. First one is pyometer, second one is arachnoid, and third one is durameter. Pyometer is a external layer, arachnoid one is a middle layer, and durameter is a inner layer of the meningitis. And the meninges are the three membranes that cover the brain and spinal cord. And meningitis can occur when fluid surrounding the meninges becomes infected. Cerebrospinal fluid are infected means meningitis, and this fluid are surrounding the spinal cord and brain. Next one is references of the this topic, like Boyers Zomeri 2004 textbook of medical surgical nursing, and Philadelphia Lippincott Pelham and Wilkins. Next one reference is Louis Mantek Sharon et al. 2000 medical surgical nursing and assessment and management of clinical problems, and St. Louis, Missouri, Moss by publishers. And last one reference is Lippincott 2001 Manual of Nursing Practice, JP Brothers, Philadelphia. These are the references for these are the references for meningitis. Next one is multiple choice questions. Next one is multiple choice questions. Uh, First one question is which which medicine can fight viral meningitis? Which medicine can fight viral meningitis? Option A is antibiotic medicines. Option B, anti-inflammatory medicines. Option C, hydrating fluid. And option D, none of the above. The right answer is D, antibiotic medicines, anti-inflammatory medicines, and hydrating fluids are can be fight viral against the viral meningitis. Next one question. Which procedure is most likely used to test for meningitis? Which procedure is most likely used to test for meningitis? Option A is throat culture. Option B, spinal tape. Option C, tuberculosis skin test. Option D, none of the above. The right answer is B. Spinal tape is most likely used to test for meningitis. Next one question. Which of the following people is most likely to develop bacterial meningitis? Which of the following people is most likely to develop bacterial meningitis? Option A is an obese woman. Option B, a newborn baby. And option C, a college student. And option D, any of the above. The right answer is B, a newborn baby most likely to develop bacterial meningitis. Next one question. Classic symptoms of meningitis. Classic symptoms of meningitis usually include option A is fever, headache, stiff neck, and option B back aches, hallucination, indigestion, and option C rash, inner ear pain, and itching, and option D is dry skin, dehydration, and cold sores. The right answer is A. Fever, headache, and stiff neck are the most classic symptoms of meningitis. Next one is there are only two types of meningitis. First one, bacterial meningitis, and second one is viral meningitis. Option A is true and option B is false. The right answer is B, false, because meningitis are four types. First one is bacterial meningitis, second one is viral meningitis, third one is fungal meningitis, and fourth one is parasitic meningitis. So right answer is false. Next one question. Which medicine can fight viral infect meningitis? Option A is antibiotic medicines. Option B, anti-inflammatory medicines. Option C, hydrating fluid. And option D, none of the above. The right answer is D, antibiotic medicines and anti-inflammatory medicines and hydrating fluid. Both are used in the treatment of viral meningitis. Next one question. Which procedure is most likely used to test for meningitis? Option A is throat culture. Option B is spinal tap. Option C is tuberculosis skin test. Option D, none of the above. The right answer is B. Spinal tap is most likely used to test for meningitis. Next one question. Which of the following people is most likely to develop bacterial meningitis? Which of the following people is most likely to develop bacterial meningitis? Option A is a obese woman. Option B is a newborn baby. Option C, a college student. Option D, any of the above. The right answer is B, a newborn baby most likely to develop bacterial meningitis. Next one question. Classic symptoms of meningitis usually include classic symptoms of meningitis usually include option A is fever, headache, stiff neck, and next one option B is back aches, hallucination, indigestion, and option C is rashes, inner ear pain, itching, And option D is dry skin, dehydration, cold sores. The right answer is A. Fever, headache, stiff neck. These are the classic symptoms of meningitis. Next one question. There are only two types of meningitis, bacterial meningitis and viral meningitis. Option A is true, option B is false. The right answer is B, false, because meningitis are four types. First one is bacterial meningitis, second one is viral meningitis, third one is fungal meningitis, and fourth one is parasitic meningitis. The right answer is B, false. Thank you. Thank you all of you for a wonderful session.